You ready, John?
We can do it. I'll do it. I'll look at it
Are
after.
you ready,
Yeah.
sir?
We've got a signature block created.
There's a little slider thing that you have to hit.
A what thing?
A slide like on and off to apply it. In settings.
All right. And that's where we can go.
Okay. All right, at this time, I'll call to order the regularly scheduled committee meeting for the Village Midlothian, Wednesday, February 16th, 2022, at 7 p.m. Roll call, please. Clerk Moskal.
Trustee Cavney?
Here.
Trustee Crowley?
Here.
Trustee Hilly?
Here.
Trustee Ivan?
Here.
Trustee Johnson?
Here.
Trustee Killalea? Mayor LaRue?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, we have the pleasure of having Superintendent Michael Hollingsworth from School District 143 and Angela Crowdy, and Tom is the architect. Okay.
Well, thank you for letting us present tonight for Mike. Oh, you want me to talk
Yeah.
to Mike?
You can hold it.
Angela, do you want to present?
You can hold it.
You can take it off.
You can take it out and hold it.
I'm not like used to like the thing. There, that's good. All right. Well, thank you for letting us present what we think is a very exciting addition to our district, Springfield School. I'm going to go over, if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to go over about a 10-minute kind of summary of how we got to this point, and then I'm going to let Tom talk about the actual plans. So if that works for you. So as you're well aware, during this pandemic, the schools across the country were getting funding through ESSER, which is the elementary, secondary school emergency relief fund. And because it was filtered through the Title I grants, we were able to get quite a bit of funding through the 3 different grants. In total, we received $6.8 million. Okay, so obviously that's probably the only good thing about the pandemic. It was this funding. And so most districts were, you can only spend so much money on PPE and cleaning supplies, basically. So most districts were looking for other options to do. Some did hire new staff, but the problem with hiring new staff is that you have to fund it after the money is used up. So because it's a federal grant, there's lots of little strings attached to this money, of course. And the one thing that they did say, though, that we can use it on was, improving the air quality in your buildings, so HVAC work. Okay, so even before the pandemic, we had a 5-year capital outlay program that we would be improving our HVAC throughout the district. So we had that going before. So in fact, last summer we did the Spalding building. We did the entire building with our HVAC, so that's 100% done, and we were able to use the first round of the funding for that. Saying that because we normally go through the process of issuing working cash bonds for this type of project, we wanted to do something more significant, something that was going to add to us for a long time. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to get this kind of money. We're never going to see this kind of money from the feds. So we looked at one of the projects we had outstanding was the Springfield School addition. And those of you who know Springfield School, and I'm sure you all do, it is a beautiful building. It was the original building in our district. The front of that building, the Harding part of the building, is the old traditional. And unfortunately, that faces McDonald's, and you don't go in that part of the building. It's kind of the back of the building. So the other issue with the building is that it only has one small gym. And with the increase in the PE requirements, the hot lunch program, our kids eat their hot lunch in the classrooms. It's the only building that we have to do that with because it's a very small gym and we have to run PE through that, and we can't even meet all the requirements of our PE because of that. So we've always struggled with that. We've made it work, but it's always been a struggle. So we looked at putting some additional classrooms and a gym. We talked to Tom, our architect, and said, draw us some plans. Because this building is part of the original. It was right in the middle of the town, and it's landlocked. It's the only building we have that doesn't have a greenery space around it. All the other buildings have greenery spaces. This is surrounded by concrete and asphalt. So the kids' playground is basically the big lots. And we own the property that's on the north side of 146th Street there, where Midlothian Baseball had the fields there for years. Obviously, that organization is now defunct. We have talked with the Park District about potentially them fixing up the one half of that and maybe working with us when we talk about this plan here. So we've already had contact with them as well, and they're definitely on board. So that's kind of where we got to this point of wanting to add on to to Springfield School. The reason why we're here today is because obviously, to me, the best drawing, the best plan was something that we're going to need your help on. And I'm going to have Tom go through it. But as you can see with the drawing, and I'll hand these out here, we are looking at closing 146th Street up until the alleyway there behind KFC. So I'm going to let him make that part of the presentation. But you know, there it is. I have drawing. I have pictures. I'll actually hand these out, so it'll be easier.
Yeah.
But
Thanks.
good thing we have the old-fashioned
Old school,
paper,
old
right?
school works.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, you just can't use yours.
I like pictures.
Wow. You have the drawing in front of you.
Yes.
So Tom,
Thank you. My name is Tom Zergat from Tria Architecture. As Mike said, I'm the district architect for Midlothian 143. Oh, there it goes again. So we've been a district architect for 5-6 years now. Do a lot of educational work in the area, so very familiar. I grew up in Oak Lawn, so I'm very familiar with the area. This project started on many accords. As far as the funding was the first one, to the need for a gymnasium. So then, like Mike said, we did a lot of different options. We probably did 6 or 7 different options. The one thing we kept struggling with, to put the gymnasium and classrooms on the site somewhere, in particular the gym, being a 2-story big box added to the building, that no matter where we added, we couldn't really add to the east because there's a parking lot over there. Couldn't add to the south because of all the homes and businesses around there. So we kept looking to the west side of the building where there was some open land. But every time we were trying to connect the building, you know, a new addition to the existing building, we almost were really creating these little voids that was more of a concern than anything else, that you have this big gymnasium box, but by default, by connecting it to the building, now there's, you know, a security issue as far as what could happen at night, stuff like that. So we're always going to be cognizant of that. How do you really connect the building, but make it safe and also not be an eyesore? Like we, at one point, the original entrance, as Mike was saying, on the west side, we didn't want to cover that up. You know, we tried because that would be the easiest way to put an addition on there, but it just didn't work. It would cover up the building forever. Then that beautiful, as an architect, it's a beautiful entrance, it would be gone forever. So, and I knew there was a desire on Mike from knowing Mike for the last 5 years. I always talked about the grandeur of this building, but just needs something to happen. So kind of having that in the back of our head, once I really knew that the fields, I really didn't know this before, but the fields behind the buildings, like the soccer field, well, the 2 baseball fields, were actually property of Midlothian 143. I'm like, okay, what about this crazy idea? I said, why don't we try to connect the properties? And, you know, the only divider is 146. You know, roads get closed all the time, it doesn't hurt to ask. So I said, if we did that connection by connecting the school properties together again as one continuous plot, and put the gym where 146th Street is, it solves a lot of problems. One, it's logical at the far end of that building, makes sense. We actually have now a corridor, in the dark blue is the gymnasium, and then there's a connection link back to the building. So it kind of creates a loop on the north end of the building there. We put 6 classrooms in there, but it just made sense. Even more importantly for entrances. So for a gym, you're going to have an entrance, but you also have nighttime entrances. So if there's a after-hours event, there's a nice logical flow, where there's a nice flow to get cars, drop off, parent drop off their kids. So it could be a nice gymnasium after-hour entrance. Whereas the gym is there, but you can close off the rest of the school. That's always ideal, that if you want to have an after-hour activity, use the gym, use some bathrooms, and you close off the rest of the school. No one can wander the school. So that made it very easy. So the location worked out pretty well by putting it in 146th. But so again, and this plan didn't require any homes to be acquired. It's just the public road. So again, working with Mike and Angela, we just said, let's test it. So it fits. It meets the needs as far as the district, as far as the gym that we need. It's not a humongous gym, just a normal-sized gym, but gives them the additional 6 classrooms for growth for the school. Actually creates a nice little courtyard on that north end, which is currently just asphalt, parking area, so that can beautify that part of the building as well. More green space. The orange is also a potential maintenance facility for the district, for their lawn maintenance and their vehicles and such, to be located on the property. And it creates a drop off the playground, and as we talked about Harding Avenue kind of being still maintained. We always wanted to maintain, because right now currently Harding is a dead end cul-de-sac. So now by continuing that, we never wanted to interrupt the business flow. So we knew on Pulaski there, kids are Pulaski, I should know this, but so by Pulaski, so by the McDonald's and the KFC, that little road there that if you turn on the 146 to go into McDonald's, that doesn't get interrupted at all. And then that actually connects it to Harding, so now you have a continuous flow from Harding all the way back to Pulaski. So that was kind of a bonus as well. Still gives the kids the hard surface play area, gives them green surface area to play, or a soft area to play, and the gym. So it kind of worked on many accords, and that's kind of how we came up with this option. And also, if you can see just briefly on the bottom, and it's hard to tell, and the bottom is purple, is 2 little purple squares. That's currently the main entrance of the building, the main office, which is also in need of renovation. So really to turn the building around, have a parent drop off now on Harding, and now the front office will be relocated back to the front, probably where it was, 100 years ago. So you'll have the beautiful cast stone entrance. The main office is right there for security. You come in the door, go right into the front office, which is a necessity. But we'll relocate the front office to the front, so that even if children are playing in that hard surface, that triangular gray area, that's the recess area, the front office always has eyes on it as well. And the back area now where the main office is really just going to be a staff parking lot. And that's kind of what it really is, not a playground. So that's pretty much everything in a nutshell. I have some other renderings I can show you before and after, like if you want to see anything else, or open any questions you have.
You missed the biggest point for Chief Delaney and Trustee Crowley. Is the
traffic flow. I know that it's not a concern in our district, but we have it smooth sailing throughout our 4 buildings. But yes, this would definitely help the traffic flow. We won't have the Harding cul-de-sac with 6 inches of water and kids walking through it, and then parents fighting our.
but backing up on the 147th, and then Springfield Avenue is just
Right,
it's a mess waiting to happen. So
I've
this
subbed
would
in that
alleviate
building.
the whole thing.
I subbed in that building. Well, I've subbed in all the buildings in the district, and between this one and Central Park, I don't know which one was worse. So this would be a nice addition. I do have a question. This triangular green space, is this space that, you said this was already owned by the district?
Yes.
The spaces?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
What's on there right now?
Asphalt?
That's
Just
asphalt.
the whole thing is just asphalt?
Asphalt.
That's right behind McDonald's.
Right, okay.
Right.
So would the plan be in this drive area that says parent drop-off?
Mhm.
Would that would not be a continuation of the public road of Harding Avenue, is that correct? So
No.
that would not be open to through traffic?
It would be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we're
Not
proposing,
during-
just because that would give that flow. We can close it off during school hours, which is
Uh-huh.
what I would recommend.
That's what I was referring to.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's 2 gates in the case, so, yeah, the traffic flow would be coming probably most likely from 146 down, and then we want the parents, well, I think they're coming from Harding, dropping off so the kids go off on the passenger side. But then, yeah, there's 2 gates there that can be closed off during school hours.
Okay.
So that, if, it's recess area, even that green space, if maybe the kids want to go to the
Okay.
green space,
Okay.
they can flow easily and safely. But then, yeah, then the gates are open at 3 o'clock, and it's a regular road. So really, it's like a road swap of 146th for this extended Harding.
Okay.
And Mike and I, we've met and talked a couple of times about this, and I've already gone to Superintendent Sperry. There is 2 infrastructures in, under, or along 147th that would have to get rerouted around the new structure.
146.
What did I say?
147.
146th, around this new structure back to its original location at Springfield. One of them is storm, or no, sorry, sanitary. What did I tell you? Whatever it is, they have to make sure that the elevations stay proper for the things to leave the town. So that's the only issues there. They don't think this is a big deal to relocate. It happens all the time in construction. So that was our only big concern, and it's not really that big of a concern. So also, if you recall, we intentionally added Springfield School into the new downtown TIF, and it's my opinion that this is one of the things that the TIF was designed to do, to upgrade a outdated school to make it a nicer place for young families to bring their kids and go to school at. So, and you made a good point. It upgrades the school to if down the road it could be a junior high.
Yes.
Correct.
That's correct. So right now, obviously, it's a K-6 building. It can never be a K-8 building because of the small gym that we have. I'm not telling you that we're automatically going to be changing it to a K-8, but it could down the road. The 6 classrooms that we're adding, at least 2 or 3 of them we can rent out to Eisenhower Co-op, which is the special ed cooperative that rents out space in our building, so we'll actually get a little revenue off of that. They're always looking for additional space, so there's a lot of pluses, but of course, it's our classrooms, we can take them back when necessary.
Can I ask a question? Is there a reason that we're leaving this alley between the green space and the businesses and not just vacating it?
I'm talking about over here.
You're talking about north of 146th?
That's for the apartments.
That's the only
Yeah.
access for those apartments.
Oh, I thought they went in from the front.
No, that alleyway's currently there.
I was thinking
We do
maybe-
have a fence along that entire line that we will be fencing off that area. So, but like I said, the park district was excited about potential, kind of making that like a highlight field for their in-house program. And, we talked even about, and that's why Tom has it up there, like a soccer field, if we wanted to do that, because that would be something that wouldn't take up space. We could still use it as our property in the daytime, but it would be nice to have a soccer field there as well.
So it's another important thing for us, as you've all seen about with the flooding in town, we would like to see more green type infrastructure. So if there's a way to work in, obviously cutting off a big chunk of the asphalt and making it green, that's a big help, but anything else that would help along with recovering rainwater.
And this project, based on the size of the footprint, would require MWRD, so we'll have to follow all their guidelines.
And I'm assuming that in the parking area, you're showing green, that would be
Yeah,
some sort of
just
landscaping.
it's still preliminary, but it's just to soften it up a little bit, maybe put some landscaping trees, just to
Sure.
make it nice.
It looks fantastic. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Look at this. Yes,
Very nice,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
It is
Yes.
amazing.
it's big, it's big
Definitely
ideas.
have my support.
It is.
Big ideas, and
It
that's
is a big
exactly,
idea, and that's why we wanted to make that presentation to you, but I really think it gives us the best of both worlds with the, it gives us that greenery area for our kids. Obviously, yes, to the building, but, to me, I've always said, that building, that front of that building is so gorgeous and kind of gets lost. We come into the back end of the building and it's a little boring and it's just a school entrance. It's impressive. That building, back in the day, I was talking to Mayor LaRue, that in the back of the day, that building was gorgeous. And, when we took it down, when we made some repairs in it, it had tin ceilings that unfortunately have been painted white about 15
We could scrape them off.
They had the built-in chalkboards and, you know, the wood floors, but the wood floors over the years, we had, you know, sanded them down, and unfortunately, they, you know, couldn't be sanded anymore, so we had to replace them, but, well, it was a pretty building, for sure. And the other thing, it was very safe, the bathrooms there, we had a bathroom renovation about 15, 20 years ago. The walls in the bathrooms were 3 feet thick, concrete, and then the cinder block around it. So if we had a tornado in town, that was the safest place to go. It wasn't coming down. So, but yeah, so it was really a neat building. I kind of want to highlight that again.
Probably designed that way too, specifically for the thick walls. What year was it built?
20.
Probably definitely in 20s, yeah, I don't know what they were. Then it seems 20 era, I don't have the
21,
drawings.
22, something like that.
So it's almost 100 years old.
Wartime, you know, in the wartime area, people were building things for bomb shelters.
So this view here is, I mean, the white, we didn't want to get too extravagant with the, you know, windows and all that, just, it's preliminary right now. But there's the white is the original building, the blue is the proposed addition over there for the gym and that link. But, you know, you can just imagine the drop off
Right.
and kids going there, going to the front door again, you know, and actually just being the focal point of the school. I mean, it has character, that's for sure.
So what I perceive the school district needing from the village would be, one, to approve the ordinance to vacate 146th from Springfield to the alley, and possibly share some of the TIF money to help with the infrastructure relocations. But again, according to Superintendent Sperry, it's not that big of not a big deal. The only concern he had was the elevation change. When you go to relocating something, you have to keep that same elevation.
Who's your city engineer, do you know, for the civil?
Robinson Engineering is our
Okay,
village
I know that.
engineer. So, anyone else?
It definitely looks like a good plan. Appreciate you bringing it to us.
Thank you. So from our perspective, can we go ahead and have Tom start drawing up the RFP? I mean, we want to get going on this project because, again, for us, you know, the sooner the better.
I think it's pretty unanimous up here. If you could get us the RFP, then we'll work on taking that, and we'll work to vacate the street. And then, I don't know how we work on the TIF money, but that's something we'll get to. RFP first.
Yes.
Having gone through this with the Park District, I know the building superintendent is going to scrutinize the green space in those parking lots. So when the time comes, have your people look at the village ordinance with regard to green space for parking spots. There has to be some.
We're learning that for our building. We're months out and the prices are high.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. And that's why we want to get it put together and get it on the street and, you know, see what we can do. So.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
If you
you.
have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me. You know how to contact me. Stop at Hogwell, come over, speak with me there. So, and you can bring me Hogwell. I'm good with that. I'm there all the time. But thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
I was going to move on to public comment, but we don't have any public.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You want to say something, public comment, Mike? Or?
Do I want to say anything about that? That's enough.
All right, then I'll close for the public comment. All right, moving on to trustee business, trustee Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually have 3 items. 2 are on my agenda. One I sent an email late this afternoon for your consideration. First one is to purchase a laptop for Jackie Harris to use to conduct the business of the front office area. This is the same laptop that Trustee Crowley brought to your attention last week for the police department. We feel that it is a great value for what we will be getting. I've included the invoice, and I would like to put this on the consent agenda for next week if you're agreeable to this purchase.
This is actually on the agenda for approval, so.
Oh,
we'll
okay.
think about somebody you can.
Get it out of the way. So you want to make a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to purchase the new laptop for the front office area.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please, Clerk Moskowitz.
Trustee Johnson.
Here, yes.
Aye.
I meant
Aye.
first, sorry.
Trustee Kavney.
Aye.
Trustee Crowley.
Aye.
Trustee Hilly.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The second is for approval to purchase the lease to buy the stamp and folding machine that I brought to board's attention last week. We would be paying $490.13 per month for the 63-month lease. Our current equipment is in disrepair, and we badly need this. As you know, we had to walk across the street last week and purchase stamps so that we could mail the village's business. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of the stamp and folding machine.
Second?
Any discussion?
Is that just the stamp machine? The folding machine is separate.
We're getting both,
Good know.
yes.
For that price.
Oh, okay.
And you did say that that's the only folding machine in the village. I know the police department used to have one, but it fell
Yes,
apart a
this
long
is the
time.
only folding
So they
machine.
bring everything up here also to,
Correct. And Jackie also looked into if there would be a need once the police department moves, if they're gonna need a folding machine over, but until the building is done, we need a folding machine.
they can have the used one.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hand-me-downs. You used to it, right?
All right. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Johnson.
Aye.
Trustee Hilly.
Aye.
Trustee Kavney.
Aye.
Trustee Crowley.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The third item is, as I said, mentioned, it was an email that was sent by me earlier this afternoon. Jackie Harris contacted the company, FP, that currently has the machine, and we have to pay for the remaining amount on the invoice and also property tax on the machine. The invoice is attached, and it would be, we would owe the company $425. The uniqueness about this is they won't tell us how to take the machine down and out until we pay them this invoice.
What?
This is how they operate. And
Extortion?
So if we don't pay the money, they won't take the machine, we can't get the new machine, we're walking across the street to get stamps.
But are we buying the new machine from them?
No,
We're getting it from somebody else?
Yes.
Oh, but we can't get the new machine till the old one's gone?
yes. And the old one, the company will not tell us how to take apart the machine until we pay. It's an invoice and a property tax. I don't understand the property tax part of it.
It's
but
probably personal property tax thing.
I don't-
It's
I'm not-
crazy.
You know.
Yeah.
For a village?
No, personal property tax is a whole other animal. It's not like sales tax or.
No. Mhm. That's what the property tax is, it's personal
I
property tax,
included
right?
Jackie's email of what the company.
Which, yeah, I don't know
I
why we would
didn't-
have
I
to
didn't
pay
get
it.
it.
If we were a municipality, I don't think
sent
we
it
should have to
the
pay it, but,
Village of Midlothian board, that it's a email that Sandy set up. If you
Oh.
like, I can forward it to you.
No, you know what? Let me check my,
oh, did you, that's where you sent it, because I was just looking at my emails, I
No,
didn't see
I
it.
sent it,
It's in the group?
it's in the group.
You gotta select follow on that. I sent the instructions a while back. You gotta select follow if you want it to go in your inbox.
Follow where?
I'll show you after the meeting.
Oh, thank you. All right.
yeah, that'd be great, because I'm not getting them on my phone. so
Right.
I'll show you after the meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
So I'd like to make a motion to pay the remaining invoice of $424
Group within the.
so that we can get the new equipment as quickly as possible.
Oh, no.
Did you make the motion?
Oh, no.
Oh,
The 490.13?
No, that was
400,
the third thing she brought up. We had to
Yeah.
pay the old company.
yeah,
Okay,
like-
that's not on the agenda.
it's $424.
We'll have to put that on the consent agenda.
okay, that's
For
fine. I
next
wasn't
week.
sure because it was last minute how this works.
Do we know what the property, you said 420, that's total?
Yes, $424.
Right. And you know what, if we have to put it on the consent agenda for next week, is there a way that we can go back to them to contest the personal property tax?
Ellen said it's not personal property tax.
Oh, I thought it
No, I
Yeah.
thought you said it was personal property tax.
It just said property tax. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
Okay, we should probably call and ask them that, because
Yeah.
I have a feeling that it might be personal property tax. If we were a business and we had a machine, all businesses have to pay personal property tax on furniture and business equipment. And so they're charging us personal property tax because they're required by the government to send that on. But since we're a municipality, we shouldn't have to pay personal property tax. Do I have that correct, Alan?
Yeah, I'm actually just reading
Where's
some on
that?
the Illinois Revenue
Yeah.
Department page. Who pays these taxes? Corporations, partnerships, trusts, S corps, and public utilities pay these taxes. I don't see anything about municipalities.
Yeah,
Okay. I will ask Jackie to go back to the
So
company.
we should be exempt for that.
yeah.
Yeah, check on that before the next meeting.
Yep,
If
I
something
will.
comes up, let us know.
Yep.
Anything else?
That is it for today.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Trustee Ivan.
Since we're talking about the mail, it appears we had another issue with the delivery of some checks going through the Midlothian post office. I guess there's a request to track to see what exactly happened. It appears that this is, I think, like third or fourth time that we sent them a bulk stuff to get mailed and it hasn't been delivered. I was thinking we should probably come up with like an alternative, possibly an alternative location, like using another post office, like, I don't know, Oak Forest. I've had personal issues where I've dropped mail off in the Midlothian one and it wasn't delivered, or I didn't receive it. So I don't know if they're having technical problems or employee problems or what at the post office, but that might be something we might want to think about in the future.
I was kind of led to believe, well, maybe this is what they're just saying. They're blaming the
Where they send it to.
the distribution center,
Yeah.
because everything that comes here goes there and then comes back.
Yeah.
If it's,
And I was thinking that was the same excuse they gave us the other
Wasn't it?
other times. And so if maybe they don't fill out the forms correctly, if that's a possibility.
yeah. My only concern is if we go to Oak Forest and they're going through the same processing plant. then-
Yes, if it's the processing plant that's at fault,
Yeah.
I could see that, yes. That might be a different
Yeah,
issue.
don't we all
But
think
that's why I'm
Bedford Park?
saying we should consider it maybe
Yeah.
as an alternative, because this is, I think it's getting a little too much.
Did-
I mean, you talked to the post office general
Yeah.
on the last occasion.
It's always manpower, staffing, nothing with the process. It's mostly staffing. Has always been the issue, I guess, is what I've been told, so.
Yeah, and that's what the feedback I got as well. Again, something I thought we might want to think about if it happens again.
Have we checked to try to automate as much as possible to make sure that everything we're sending electronically or via our bank, we can do, make sure that everything that we can be?
Yes, we're going to look into that.
All right, anything else?
That would be it for me, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Hilly.
I have just a couple things. The first thing, though, is I'm not gonna make a motion to approve the Public Works collective bargaining agreement, since this is the first version of the final copy that we're getting, although it has been during closed session that everything is in line with what we had talked about. We had a verbal commitment from the union. This is just now the in writing version. So if I could have that, does anyone have any questions about that?
No, and just, my apologies, I actually told Alan, I thought we already approved this, because we talked about it for a lot, and then nothing happened, and I had the contracts on my desk, and that's when I finally asked you, am I supposed to sign this? And
Yeah, the delay was that there were a couple of minor matters that the village clarified and that the union was going to incorporate in the final version. And it took us about 4 weeks too long to get that back. They just weren't catching it. So they finally did address the final copy, and it's accurate.
Right, and Attorney Murphy looked it all over, and it's exactly what the board
Agreed upon.
Yes.
Yes.
Can this actually go on the consent agenda, or does this have to be on, it doesn't need a special number of votes?
No.
Okay, so the consent agenda,
Yeah, for next week, that'd be great. Also, as previous,
next week's
Oh, yeah, we do. Board, sorry. Yep.
I've lost track.
Okay, as previously discussed, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the Roy Erickson agreement for the Metro Station janitorial services.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Hilly.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Caveney.
Aye.
Trustee Crowley.
Aye.
Trustee Johnson.
Aye.
Motion carries.
And also, as previously discussed, I'd like to make a motion for the approval of the Roy's landscaping agreement for the Metro Station.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Hilly.
Aye.
Trustee Caveney.
Aye.
Trustee Crowley.
Aye.
Trustee Ivan.
Aye.
Trustee Johnson.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Anything else tonight, sir?
No. I'm sure we'll have something next week, depending on what happens in the next 24 to 48 hours, so.
Yeah. Trustee Caveney.
Thank you, Mayor. Wanted to give the board a heads up that this year, the village is due for its 5-year community rating system review. That meeting will be held in May. Today I had a meeting with Superintendent Weiner and our village engineer to go over the requirements for the meeting, and the engineer will share that with Joe. He was not able to join us today as he's planning for hopefully a non-snow event tomorrow. Anyhow, we've got a lot of paperwork and additional paperwork that we have to gather to provide to Luann, and we will be meeting with her the second week in May. So excited that, can't believe that 5 years has already gone by. Other thing is, we've discussed the event venue ordinance in the past, back in November. On behalf of the village, Superintendent Weiner had brought this proposed ordinance to the zoning board for their review and approval, which they approved. We discussed this on December 1st. So we're going to be bringing the final ordinance to the board for their review and approval very soon. Attorney Valadez is in the process of reviewing it. I sent everybody a draft very late today that had a few comments on it from Superintendent Weinert, and I had included a couple of comments and questions myself. So you guys all have that draft if you want to take a look at it, and let Attorney Valadez know if you have any comments or concerns. I would appreciate it. And right now, this is all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Trustee Crowley.
Thank you, sir. Just a couple of things. First on my agenda, I just wanted to let the board know that we will be asking to send Deputy Chief Taverina to an executive management program. This is this is budgeted for in our training budget at the cost of $2,350. It is a 3-week Northwestern executive management training program, 8:30 to 4:30, so there will be no overnight or anything like that. Do you have any questions?
Nope, I don't.
I'll have the bill on the agenda for the consent agenda next week. The other thing that I had this evening is just that we are starting to work on our 4th of July parade. We will be meeting with our volunteers in the next few weeks. If anybody's, I'm gonna send it out later.
Okay.
If anybody would like to volunteer, you can shoot me an email and I'll add you to our volunteer list. And I believe that is all I have this evening, sir.
Thank you.
Oops, Mayor?
Yes.
If I may, since Trustee Killily is not here, he and I had a brief email discussion the other day about some of the vacant residential properties in town that we would like to bring to the South Suburban Land Bank for their consideration. So we'll be getting that list together to share with the board. So if I could ask the board, if you guys could go back to that Excel list that I had provided you with all the notes on it, take a look at it and take a look at some of the lots that are listed as available. There are several lots over off of Clare Boulevard that would just be, I think, just north of the Public Works area. Those originally, I believe, were intended to be residential lots, but now they're zoned B2. so that's on Clare Boulevard, and those lots are deep enough that they back up to, I think, 2 residential lots that face what would be 144th Street, except that 144th Street doesn't go through. So, you could take a look. I think Superintendent Weiner might have sent me a screenshot of where these lots are located, so I'll forward that to you. But if you guys could take a look at that Excel sheet and, just take a gander at some of the residential properties that are identified and some of the vacant lots. And, then Don and I will assemble a list, an official list that we'll send out to everybody. So I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention.
So Kathy, for the vacant lots, are you interested in potentially making those available so a business could buy the whole lot and develop it as a business?
Yes, exactly. And then, but also some of these vacant homes that are in town, the problem with going to the county and doing the scavenger sale, whenever you do like a county-related type of scavenger sale or tax sale, there is a 2.5 to 3 year redemption period for the homeowner to come and redeem those taxes. So you can buy the taxes, but then, if you were that type of company that did that, you're putting out the funds to buy that tax bill, and you're sitting there waiting for 2.5 years. And if the homeowner comes through and says, oh yeah, I want my property back, they have to not only pay the taxes, but then they have to pay interest and penalties, and that's how the scavenger purchaser makes some money, is on the fees or the interest that they would recoup. If not, then if the homeowner doesn't come, then, and if the scavenger still wants that property, then some type of tax deed is issued to them. And that's a very high level simplified as I know it, how it works. If we go through the land bank, if a property truly is 2 years arrear in the taxes and is abandoned, there's nobody there, the land bank can go to the court and petition the court to turn the title over to, I believe it's the village, right? Does the village get it or the land bank get it?
The land bank, you're talking about the,
When they go, I thought the
Yeah.
village got it, then we had to deed it to the land bank.
The land bank has statutory authority to terminate that.
No, I understand that, but I thought like when we did it with other properties, the title, the deed comes to the village, then the village turns around immediately and gives it,
I think
deeds it
that
to
was
the land bank. Is that how it goes or no?
No, that was a different situation.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
it can.
So at any rate, so with these residential properties, if we go through the abandonment process with the land bank, it's not a 2.5 or 3 year redemption period, it's only 6 months. So it's a much short, we still have a waiting period, but it's only a 6-month waiting period. It's not 2.5 years. So that would help the village get some of these abandoned properties, back onto the tax roll, back into either a homeowner's hands where it's occupied by, a homeowner, or in the case of any commercial property, we could put it up for redevelopment.
Kathy, is that address east or west of Pulaski?
It's just east of Pulaski on Clare Boulevard.
So right across from where the new police station is going to be?
Kind of up the street from the police station. It'd be north. Clare's on an angle, so, but yeah, it's kind of going in the northerly direction, sort of. So it would be up the block, just past the Public Works location.
Okay.
So,
okay.
yeah. I do have a screenshot of where that particular
looking at it.
piece of property is, and I can send that to you. There is another piece, there's another big section of residential property. I would have to go back and double check to see if that's in the flood zone, though. I'm not sure if that property is in the flood zone or not.
Okay.
Thank you, that's all.
Say I'm really happy that we're looking forward to the 4th of July parade. It's going to be really hot out, so.
Gotta have something to look forward to, sir.
I know, I'm looking forward to the FLA
I was just going to bring that up.
coming up.
Yes.
3 weeks?
2.5.
All right, Attorney Valdez?
The village did file its response brief to the firefighters union ULP exceptions of the administrative law judge. If you recall, the administrative law judge upheld the arbitrator's decision, and the appeal from the administrative law judge is the exceptions to the state panel of the labor board. Just to let the board know that the arbitrator and the administrative law judge have limited precedence in terms of what it means when a case ends there. However, if the state panel finds in our favor, that would become law in the state of Illinois. So that was the choice that the union made to go forward. The second item is last Friday, Slapshot surrendered their liquor license and accepted the revocation. So that business no longer will have a liquor license in the village of Midlothian. And finally, SVN had its status date for its business license. The village is moving forward to separate the business license from SVN. It is a separate issue from their liquor license, and that will go forward in March. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Okay, we'll talk later. I have nothing tonight. Clerk Musto?
Yeah, I just have one thing. I had sent at the end of January the board an email from the attorney representing T.H. Davidson requesting that the board consider extending their Class 8 renewal. And I believe Maggie followed up with some of the related sales tax information. So he has not called me back to follow up, but I did tell him I would be getting back to him after the board discussed it, and I forgot to bring it up the following week, so.
When does it expire?
Any questions?
This is current one expired, did you say?
He may have
And
told
what
me,
was the
and I wanted
business
to
again,
check.
Alan?
The
T.H.
concrete.
Davidson Concrete Plant.
Okay.
I will have to look up
That's
the
fine.
date.
I just wanted, we have time to,
Yeah, I don't think it's urgent, but I will double check that.
big company. How many employees you said? 20? I don't know.
Let me find this here real quick. Let's see right now. It is. Plant currently employs 8 drivers, 2 mechanics, and 1 plant operator. There's 11 full-time employees. That figure represents about 22% of the total number of Welsh Ready Mix employees in Cook County. Without this incentive, it will likely once again not be financially feasible to continue to operate this facility, with other facilities in Chicago and Will County able to serve the area and deliver concrete to the south suburbs. The failure to renew this application will likely mean the closure of the facility in the near future. It does not indicate when it is supposed to expire.
Yeah, she didn't realize, but maybe.
So I will have to take a look and see. I might be able to do that from here, thanks to our VPN.
Been around forever, I don't know. I don't know what, we've denied other extensions of Class 8s.
Well, we also approved one.
We've also approved them too. All right, give you time to, think about it.
Okay, yeah, I will find the dates and let everyone know. They're 12 years, I believe, so
Yeah.
we were on the board, so
Yeah.
I will find those dates. And
Right.
with that, I believe is all I had as well.
Cool. Thank you. Then at this time, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee of the public body.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we're going to be going to closed session. You guys mind if we adjourn to my office?